Hello. Hi, everybody. Good to see you tonight. Glad to be here from my kitchen to yours. Relax, put your feet up, get an adult beverage going, get a cup of coffee going if you prefer, or tea. My new song that I'm going to debut for you tonight, and you'll be the first people to hear it, mentions making a cup of tea. Marcia's here. I'm so glad because Marcia lives in a little slice of heaven on earth that I used to spend my summers when I was a boy. Because both grandparents, both sets, my grandmother, who was my mom's mother, Lillian Shenton, she lived, what am I doing? The mic's way over there. She lived on one end of the street in Cedar Croft, and on the other end of the street was my other set of grandparents, G. Nelson and Florence Murgott. Just remind me of a story about my grandfather. I don't know if I should tell it, but I'll cogitate on that for a minute or two. So Marcia, yes, I'm gonna. Thanks, Nancy. I'm gonna tell some stories. I'm gonna talk about Cedar Croft. It's down in the bigger burg of Brick, New Jersey, but it's like its own little thing. It's its own separate little entity. It's like a little village that you go back on these streets. And Marcia, you can be the judge, but I think it's pretty untouched by time. There has not been a lot of changes there. Although, there has been some building. But tonight I'm going to play you a song, Red Winged Blackbirds, that I wrote, and it's an older song. It's on one of my albums. It's on Islands, I think. and that was from an image that just stuck with me. A lot of writing comes from visual imagery that doesn't leave you. John Fowles, the novelist from England, has an excellent article. It's compiled in one of his books, but it was originally an article in the Atlantic magazine. It's called Notes on an Unfinished Novel, and that article is an in-depth discussion of his inspiration for the book and the writing of the book, The French Lieutenant's Woman, which of course really put him on the map, and then they made a movie out of it. And he said there was just a visual image that came to him, a lonely woman standing at the end of a dock near where he lived. Hi, Phil. Phil Swanson's here, who's got his own webcast, and a good one. Yes, I want to walk those streets again. That's exactly what I'd like to do. Scotzo's here. Larry Dunning is here, it's interesting because I was walking the streets of Cedar Croft, and I think I was walking with Jane Lucy, who was always my friend. Always, always, always. Like from the time we were 3 and 4. She was a year older than me, I think. I mean, do you have a friend like that you were literally in the bassinet with? And we were never romantically involved. We were like brother and sister. And we were walking down that main street in Cedar Croft. You guys, Marcia and Larry, can tell me the name of the street that both grandparents lived on. And at the end of the block, right near the Dunning's house, right in front of the Dunning's house, which was my great aunt and Larry and my great uncle and Aunt Dottie, Uncle Pete. And there was a beautiful big flock of red-winged blackbirds, and they used to kind of congregate down there. And I don't see them hardly anymore. My friend Joe Graves out in Northern California has told me, and like Larry, he's an ex-Navy man. And Joe has told me they see them by the dozens out near where he lives, and we hardly see him at all anymore. Well, in my typical obsessive way, Annie and I got into this TV show. Oh gosh, now I'm going to forget the name of it. Annie, what was the name of that show about the couple who bought the farm? I'll think of it in a minute. And the theme song was done on a ukulele. And so we always liked this show, always liked this little sprightly theme on the uke. So me being the nut that I am, I tracked down the composer. He's out in California. He's a guy in his 30s with 2 little kids. And I said, you know, my wife and I love your show. We love your music. We love the ukulele sound. And I said, could you tell me what kind of uke you're using there? Green Acres, yeah, that was the original granddaddy, Scotzo. And rather sheepishly, Lake Bell is the star of the show, and I think she was one of the producers, just in case you want to Google it quickly. Lake Bell. She was funny in it. And so the guy comes back to me, and he says rather sheepishly, thanks for asking. That was a Diamond Head 101 or whatever the model number. Yeah, Diamond Head. So I'm like, oh, awesome. So I look it up, and the uke that this guy is using on this top TV show is a $35 ukulele, a soprano. And here it is. I bought one, $35. And the fact that it's $35 makes it just a little bit sour. It's not perfect, the intonation. So it's just exactly like a vintage sounding old uke. The kind my grandfather Jack Wiseman used to play in vaudeville. I still have it. Red Wing stories. Okay, good. There's so many stories. Before I play this little thing, I'm going to play you the theme song to the show with Lake Bell. I'll play it now. Here's the $35 uke that the guy wrote it on, and it went like this. Maybe you've heard it. Maybe. That's all the time you have in TV. The little theme song. It's got that resonance, that old-timey sound that you get. So the guy kindly told me, and I was shocked. It was a $35 uke. I really thought he was going to say, oh, that's like a $1,200 Martin ukulele that I was using on that show. So one night, Jane and I and her older sister, Deb, we used to spend a lot of time together. We sailed every day throughout the summer on their sailfish. That's like a big surfboard with a sail on it. Larry, did you ever have a sailboat? You must have, with all the time you spent down there. My dad had an E-sloop, I think, which was like the Ferrari of sailboats. Very fast. Bless This Mess. Yes, that's the show. Thank you, Marcia. Bless This Mess, and that's the theme. I just played it. On my Diamond Head uke. So one night, and I don't know how old I was, 12 or something. I wasn't even hardly hormonal yet. So I wasn't interested in hanky panky with Jane, but we went out for a moonlight canoe ride. And so this moonlight canoe ride, we just glided through the calm, beautiful waters of the Metedeconk River down there. And like I said, she might have been 13. I was around 12. Maybe we were even younger. Hi, Arlene. Good to see you. Oh, you're in Colorado. Hey, good. And thanks. And say hi to Raj. You had a penguin. Okay. That's a nice little sailboat. So here we are in the summer, beautiful evening under the moonlight, and Jane and I just paddle quietly down the river, and we get to the club, the Cedarcroft Club, this beautiful little gang of people with a little beach there, and it's this moonlit night, but dark. And I had a big, powerful flashlight in the canoe, and I just decided I'd take a look at the beach. You follow? So innocent, and so far I haven't said anything outside the realm of the ordinary, right? Except for what was about to happen. Are you guys ready for this? I took the light and looked at the beach, and suddenly, like about 10 couples who were making out on the beach, the guys all jumped up, started screaming and running out into the water after us. What the, turn that light off, blah, 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 blah. And they come, and Jane and I were terrified. I was like, these guys are going to kill us. And they're swimming out to us, and we're like, oh, quick. And Marcia, you'll be just in hysterics about where we hid. We didn't even, I don't know, we thought we were such in imminent danger that we hid under the Kuhn's catamaran. We went under the tall cotton and hid underneath it. And then when we thought enough time had passed, we left and quickly paddled our way home. Okay. Cedarcroft, New Jersey, one of the great places. Now, this is a different deal, and it's a new thing that happened to me this week. I want to tell you that I bought a set of very expensive ukulele strings from Aquila, very top company. And the difference being that this string now is a wound low string. So it gives it a whole different idea. Let me cross-reference them for a minute. Normally a ukulele has a high G. Bit of Tiptoe Through the Tulips for you there. And now this thing has this throaty, deeper, more beautiful tone in a way. I'm not saying that the other one is bad. And this is a Mackay, and I'm going to play you a song that I just recorded this week for my YouTube gang. I have YouTube subscribers. I have about 300 of them. I've got some subscribers on Patreon, and now I've got some followers on Instagram. Instagram is cool. It's very visual, so people post videos and pictures all the time on Instagram. So if you're up for it, follow me on Instagram. I'm posting songs there that you can't find anyplace else, and this is one of them. I did this version this week of the beautiful Paul McCartney song from the White Album. And I do it for you tonight. Happily so. Born a poor young country boy, Mother Nature's son. All day long I'm sitting singing songs for everyone. Sit beside a mountain stream, see her waters rise. Listen to the pretty sound of music as she flies. Find me in my field of grass, Mother Nature's son. Swaying daisies sing a lazy song beneath the sun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mother Nature's son. With a low G, a uke song for you. Let me collect my thoughts. I did watch Paul McCartney's first encore of this tour, and the first encore that he played in the year 2022, as he is about to turn 80 next month, in the month of June. And he's out there doing long shows. He's doing long shows. Thanks, Marcia. The Tall Cotton, yeah. And I've seen it all. I've heard it all from the Beatles. I couldn't even... This is a strange confession to make, friends. I could not even get through the whole Disney documentary. I'm sorry. I was just beatled out. I love them. But, enough is enough in a way. By the way, for Stevie, my friend, the monkey that he gave Eli many years ago. I got to check my monitor here. Here it is, and there's a contest now. He's my new mascot for the show. And the contest is name this monkey. I have 100 names for Stampy. I have a dozen names for Eli. I have lots of names for Annie. And for most of you, I have nicknames. But I have a strange blank mind about this monkey. I know he's got a name. He's got an important name there. We'll discover it. You tell me in the next week or two. Even after we go off the air tonight, I can always go back and check your comments. Your comments stay active. And I am going to award Annie's album Muggsy is Fine, which is about Muggsy the cat. I'm going to award a copy to whoever comes up with. And it's not going to be easy because I'm going to be pretty... tough about, I have to have the perfect name for this Minkee. That's a good name right there, Minkee, Minkee. Do you have a licence for that Minky? Remember that from the Pink Panther? So McCartney, like I said, I'm pretty jaded, maybe. And let's be honest, this is so sad to say in a way, but God bless him. He's out there, he's 79, about to turn 80. He really can't sing anymore. He doesn't make the notes. What you're paying for is to see a light show and a very rehearsed happening band, and you're paying to be in the room with Paul McCartney. And that's okay. I'd pay for that. But the first encore, I'm going to confess to you, tears came to my eyes when I saw the first encore. And the reason being that he played I've Got a Feeling. And at the end, John Lennon appears on the screen singing it with him. The two of them singing together just was too much. John was on the rooftop concert. They used that footage, and it was a total surprise and a dramatic one. I've got a feeling deep inside. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I've got a feeling I can't hide. Oh no, no. Oh no, oh no. I've got a feeling. The please believe me, I'd hate to miss the train. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And if you leave me, I won't be late again. Oh, oh no, no. Oh no, no. Oh no. I've got a feeling. Okay, get ready, folks. All these years I've been running around the world, wondering how come nobody told me. All the time I'm looking for somebody who looks like you. I've got a feeling that keeps me on my toes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've got a feeling I think that everybody knows. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I've got a feeling, yeah. Now John comes in. Everybody had a good year. Everybody had a hard time. Everybody had a wet dream. Everybody saw the sunshine. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Everybody had a good year. Everybody let their hair down. Everybody pulled their socks up. Everybody put the foot down. Oh yeah. I had to let out the inner rock singer on that there rock song. That's a great rock and roll song. Of course, at the end, they sing the two parts simultaneously. It's another example where they were both writing two different songs and they just combined them. the way they did with what? A Day in the Life. As you probably know, A Day in the Life was 2 songs. There was I read the news today, report. And then the other thing was a completely different song that McCartney was working on. Woke up, got out of bed, dragged a comb across my head. Well, let's tone it down a little bit, and I'm going to sing the song that Kate Taylor has called one of the most beautiful songs she ever heard. Forgive me. You know, you do what you can. You get so little positive feedback that you have to blow your horn every once in a while. It was nice of her to say, and since she's James Taylor's sister, you have to imagine that she's heard some beautiful songs in her time. Phil, glad you could be in the room to hear that. He is a great entertainer. He's a legend, and I'd pay money just to be in the same room with him. That's, yeah. Okay, now. Red-winged blackbirds. This was a la the John Fowles story about his visual image that he had of the woman out at the end of the dock. And this is you're gonna have to forgive me because you'll see the top of my head. I have to read this. I haven't played it in a long time, but it's a song that I was playing this week, and I think you might like it. It's from a visual image that stuck with me all these years of seeing a flock of red-winged blackbirds down at the end of, what is it, Cedarcroft Drive there? Right outside the Dunnings driveway. I was walking with Jane Lucy. So Jane was so unique and so funny, and I did eventually have romantic inclinations toward her. And so after I signed to London Records and I felt like I had some credibility, I did call her up and asked her out. And right on the verge of me going down to the shore to pick her up, she called and said, "Oh, this guy from my past has just come back. Do you mind if we break our date and we'll do it another time?" And I was like, no, that's all right. And then she married that guy. Nothing would happen between us, I don't think, but she was very funny. She passed away in her 50s. I don't want to get choked up, but she and I were talking via email at the end of her life, and one day she sent me an email that was all caps, and she said, "Things have progressed here." Things have progressed meant that was the end. And then I read her obituary, and at the end of it, it said, in lieu of flowers, donations could be made to the American Cancer Society, or just buy something nice for yourself. That was Jane all the way. To say that at the end of her death notice. So she and I were walking in Cedarcroft, New Jersey, and I'm going to play this song for you. A memory's worth. Let me get into it. is worth 1,000 pictures, and we won't forget today. Even when it seems 10,000 miles away. We walked together that whole spring by a bridge over a stream. Will the years reduce our memories to a dream? Remember the red-winged blackbirds when the summer turns to snow. The red-winged blackbirds flying low. Oh, yeah. There's a golden light that shines upon us in the moments when we love, but the sound we hear is like a morning dove. Is the sorrow real, or just a reminder of the sad place we came from? In our hearts we know the best is yet to come. Remember the red-winged blackbirds when the summer turns to snow. The red-winged blackbirds flying low. Oh, yeah. A singing frog, a dancing dog, a slow parade of people passing by. We'll fold them up, put them away, and hope we never have to say goodbye. Remember the red-winged blackbirds when the summer turns to snow. The red-winged blackbirds flying low. Oh, oh, well, Annie's in that song too, because that park that we used to walk in through that whole spring, there was a little bridge over a stream, and that bridge had red-winged blackbirds sitting on it at times. So songs are fluid. Your memory supplies some of it. Oh, next Saturday, I have to let you know about this. It's come up after all these months, finally. John Corba, formerly of the Hall & Oates Band, and he played with John Waite, and he's played with Phoebe Snow, and he's played with everybody. He's one of the most fun guys to play with and to do a gig with. And he and my oldest friend in the world, Alan LaBeouf, is just back from Germany, from touring with a Beatles show, covering himself with glory, standing ovations every night. And yes, we're going to do some Beatles. So Corba, LaBeouf, and Murgot next Saturday night at the Watchung Arts Center, beautiful Watchung Arts Center, with a grand piano. Gorgeous. We can't wait. And if you're interested, I know some of my friends have called a month ago and they didn't even have the tickets on sale yet. But they're on sale now. Look up the Watchung Art Center website. And we'd love to have you. It starts at 8 next Saturday, etc., etc. What did I want to tell you? We did used to go there every year for our yearly trek, and COVID interrupted that. But we love playing together, and usually the room is full of musicians. It's kind of a musician's gig from a lot of people who know the three of us. So it's been sold out the last couple of times we did it. And so I recommend looking into it soon if you are interested. Maybe I'll do an electric guitar song here. I don't really have any super cohesive plan about this tonight, but I'm going to play this. Somebody asked me about this guitar. It's a Yamaha Revstar. Maybe I'll pull the stops out and do a blues that was a big number for John and Alan and I over the years. And I would call it a moral blues. Could I do it with this looping pedal? Jeez. I really am going to be testing myself here if I do. Have you ever loved a woman so much you tremble in pain? Have you ever loved a woman so much you tremble in pain? And all the time you know, yes you know, she bears another man's name, but you just love that woman so much, it's a shame and it's a sin. You just love that woman so much, it's a shame and a sin. But all the time you know, yes you know, she belongs to your very best friend. Just a mess. Well, you just love that woman, and you know you can't leave her alone. No. You just love that woman, and you know you can't leave her alone. Something deep inside of you won't let you wreck your best friend's home. Okay, in the middle of that song, my tone control disappeared. There it is. You guys probably saw it happen, but I did not. I was busy. I was getting busy. I was into the blues. Of course, that song is very much associated with the great Eric Clapton. He's another geezer who's on tour, I believe. The landscape is dotted with them. Tom Rush is 80. He's on tour. Probably the granddaddy of them all is Gordon Lightfoot's 83, and he's doing a hard tour, a long tour of a lot of places. And I'd pay to see that guy. I'm sure he's a kind of shadow of what he used to be, but I would pay to see that Gordon Lightfoot show. Thanks, Arlene. Thanks, Marcia. Thank you all. Thanks, gang. I got some time left here. Should I tell a story? I've got so many stories, and I haven't told a lot of them in recent years. Oh, you got your tickets. Good, Marcia. They are in their full mating plumage right now. I hope that's in reference to birds. That's not in reference to the Cedarcroft gang. Joking. Okay, the post office changed it to Cedarcroft. There were 2 Matitaconk drives. Okay. And you know what else they changed? You guys were, I don't know, were you like me? I was up in arms when Cedarcroft changed their slogan out on the sign. They were always where the forest meets the shore, which is very poetic and beautiful, isn't it? And then one day we drove up and they had a new sign, where the river meets the trees. Prosaic, to say the least. However, if I'm not mistaken, and Marcia can tell me, and she'll tell me and Larry, they changed it back, didn't they? did they change it back to where the forest meets the shore? I think there was so much outcry. So Livingston Taylor has this expression that he uses, and he's taught me. And he says, I like to have a song. I'm not going to use that thumb pick. He says, I like to have a song up on the wall when I'm writing another song. It's an admission that he's making that sometimes we're thinking of a classic song when we write our songs, and we then try to disguise the fact, and we try to not copy the inspiration song too much. But at the end of my song Red Winged Blackbirds, I tipped my hand, didn't I? Because the last lick goes, whoops. Bang, bang. So what does that sound like? Of course, that sounds like Blackbird, and I haven't done Blackbird in a long time. So I'm going to do it for you tonight. You have to imagine that Sir Paul is still doing it, because he said it's his favorite song that he ever wrote. Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to rise, yeah. Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night, yeah. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life, yeah. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to I don't know about you, but for my money, that is the greatest acoustic guitar song ever written. So Sir Paul forgets sometimes that he said that was his favorite song. And he cites another favorite song. So we don't know which one to believe. But let's just say they're both genius works, both classics. The other song that he cites is a song that he has said is the only song that John Lennon ever complimented him on. Anybody know what it is? You have to name the monkey to win a prize tonight. You can't just answer a trivia question. What if I just ended up, wouldn't it be hilarious if I just ended up calling it Monkey? sad. But I think he has a name. Here he is, my new mascot for Here and Gone. Am I going to be able to muster the am I going to be able to muster the guts to sing this new song of mine? I'm still writing. The muse hasn't left me. And I am going to start recording these songs soon, and there will be news about that. So stay tuned. You guys will be the first to know, my Here and Gone family. And you're all favorites of mine. We have to get together and do something this summer. Maybe we'll all have a coffee if you're in the neighborhood. I'll buy you a coffee at Colby's. In the meantime, this is a viewer-supported endeavor, this show. And it's through your support that I am able to continue it. And so if the spirit moves, you hit that virtual tip jar, which is just a fancy way of saying the PayPal connection, the PayPal link there. I just call it a virtual tip jar because this girl down in Nashville named it that, Dawn Beyer. So we've done Red Wing Blackbirds, we've done Blackbird, we've done Mother Nature's Son on the uke. And I have a new song, and it's so hard to play, folks, that I'm just going to have to apologize in advance. The name of the monkey is, I can't read it. Is it Mango or Mungo? Mungo, that's a good name. Oh, man. Yes. Now we're getting someplace. That might be the deal. Everybody's got something to hide except for Chip and I think they changed it back. Yeah, Marsha, let us know when you find out for sure about that. For some reason, the last two comments are not in boldface. They're faint, but they did get through, Scott. So. And Roger, thanks, Raj. Okay, here you are. You're in the debut zone again, with my head down, reading off my lap. It's a very tough song. Where it came from, I don't know, except it's another visual image. And some of my songs sound a little Beatle-ish, like Blackbird. Some occasionally sound like James Taylor. Maybe I even have a song or two that sounds a little like Steely Dan. But this song, I don't think anybody else could have written this song except me. This is a Chip Murgott song, and it doesn't sound like anybody else. So I reckon that's a good thing, but you'll have to be the judge. I was playing. Okay, let's try it. I was playing pool in an arcade on the boardwalk down the shore. I went to the bathroom to smoke a joint. I needed some air, so I went for a walk out on the beach. And on my way back to the pool hall, I saw roses on the boardwalk, scattered and blown. There was a card, the ink was running in the rain. I tried to read it, by a streetlight, but I couldn't make it out. I saw roses on the boardwalk in the rain. I shook my head when I got back, and I ordered a beer. I said, you won't believe what I just saw. But nobody was listening, so I ordered a shot. And I went back, waves were crashing by the pier. I saw roses on the boardwalk, scattered and blown. There was a card, the ink was running in the rain. I tried to read it by a streetlight, but I couldn't make it out. I saw roses on the boardwalk in the rain. I felt like picking them up, bringing them back to the girl who threw them away and broke someone's heart. I wanted to ask her why she'd do something like that and create such a bitter work of art. There's no ending to this story. I just went back home and I put some tea on and fed the cat. There was an old Italian movie when I turned on the TV, but I didn't see of Rome. No. I saw roses on the boardwalk, scattered and blown. There was a card, the ink was running in the rain. I tried to read it by a streetlight, but I couldn't make it out. I saw roses on the boardwalk in the rain. I saw roses on the boardwalk in the rain. Brilliant or a mess? You decide. You be the judge. My new song, it's called Roses on the Boardwalk. You're the first people to hear it. Thank you, Scotzo. I'm in the good camera zone again. I have also, thanks, Joy, I've also upgraded the sound this week. The suggestions of my friend Fred Holman. Fred's going to be here the first Friday, the first Friday in June to talk about his many adventures and to play bass with me here in the kitchen. And he's going to sit up next to me, not behind me. So we're going to have a one-on-one conversation about him playing with Richie Havens, him playing with Aztec Two-Step, him playing with Jerry Jeff Walker, who was, thank you, Annie. I appreciate that from a fellow songwriter. Yes, Freddie's coming, and he's going to tell about the time that he was playing Central Park with. Thanks, Jim. He was playing Central Park with Jerry Jeff Walker, and of course, thanks, Marsha. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that. Scattershot. I'm getting distracted, but I'll finish this story. Fred was playing Central Park, New York City, with Jerry Jeff Walker, who, of course, wrote Mr. Bojangles, the classic. You know what? I'm going to get Fred to play Mr. Bojangles with me that night. He's played it a million times and he's probably sick of it, but he'll indulge me, I bet. And Jerry Jeff just walked over to the side of the stage and threw up and came back and finished the song. Never missed a beat. The Iron Men of old. So I've had a ball. Alan and John and I are going to have a ball next Saturday at the Watchung Arts Center, and we hope you will join us to come along with us on that ride. We do a lot of soulful things. John, I said, was the piano player for Hall & Oates, and we'll do, if I can prevail upon him, he's probably sick of this, but he does a really good version of a Hall & Oates song, and I'm not going to tell you which one, but it's a killer. And so we'll get him to do that. Alan's back from Beatlemania. He's going to do a Beatles song or two. We're going to sing 3-part harmony on some things. You know, we're going to play some blues, definitely. John is really known in the New York City area as one of the great blues piano players. And so I have come to the end, and I have no songs left, but I don't want to just fade away here, so I'll think of something, unless you jump in there and say something very quickly. And it'll all depend on whether, if you do make a request, I'd have to know the lyric. That's always the big deal. John's a fan of the Moby Grape, as is Alan and me, but Annie and I have adapted the old Chip and Allen version of 805, which is on a record. That's on the record, Roomful of Noise, by the Stingers. Yeah. I'm going to play you my inspiration song that came out in a dream recently as a final song, and I'm going to play it with this ukulele that's now strung with a bass string. So I've never done that before. So it's a really nice sounding uke, I have to admit. This is a cheap uke. It's like $100. Any chance you'll video that show? I don't know, Larry. Our videographer is not going to be able to attend that night, so maybe I'll hand somebody a camera. And Joy, I will do you a JT song next week if you're in the audience. But I'm in the throes of this song, which is a song I wrote recently. It's kind of about our wedding day. And it goes like this. Baby blue sky dressed up with a rainbow. I always thought that's how we want it to be. And that's why I want to know, do you remember the rain? A soft summer wind blowing warm through September. I always dreamed that's how we'd want it to be. That's why I want to know, do you remember the rain? You were so worried that the rain would ruin our day, that we hardly noticed that the clouds were gone when the clouds rolled away. That's how life is when you're in love. You really don't care about the weather at all. That's why I want to know, do you remember the rain? That's why I want to know, do you remember the rain? We were so worried the rain would ruin our day, that we hardly noticed that the clouds were gone when the clouds finally rolled away. That's how life is when you're in love. You really don't care about the weather at all. And that's why I want to know, do you remember the rain? Yes, that's why I want to know, do you remember the rain? God bless, and see you next week. Have a good week. Have a good weekend.